Throughout NBA history, there have been plenty of outstanding point guards who have perfected the art of the pass. From Magic Johnson and Pete Maravich to Jason Kidd and Steve Nash, it's safe to say that the league has had its fair share of great playmakers. Although these players were some of the best the NBA has ever witnessed, what if you were told that there was once an equally impressive playmaker that you have never heard of? Back in 1984, when Isaiah Thomas made history with 1,123 assists in a single season, it was said that he was just the second person in NBA history to pass 1,000 assists. Then in 1990, when Scott Skiles delivered an all-time record of 30 assists in a single game, we learned that he had broken the previous record of 29. Born and raised in Chicago, Illinois on April 17, 1950, Kevin Porter attended St. Francis University in Loretto, Pennsylvania, where he played as a point guard. Although he averaged 23 or more points in each of his final 3 seasons for the Red Flash, the chances of him making it to the league were fairly slim. However, in the 1972 NBA Draft, he was selected as the 39th overall pick in the 3rd round by the Baltimore Bullets. Although he was far from an NBA superstar, Kevin Porter still had one impressive ability on his resume: passing. After being drafted by the Bullets, he developed into one of the best passers the game had ever seen. You see, early on in his career, Porter learned that he was destined to be a point guard, as he would make his teammates look good by delivering the basketball in spots where they could easily score. He was one of the purest passers who not only thrived in the art of the assist, but was in love with it. What also stood out about him was the fact that he was a pass-first point guard in an era filled with distributors such as Pete Maravich, Clyde Drexler, and Nate Archibald, which sadly watered down just how good his skills really were. In fact, not only was he just one of the most underappreciated passers of all time, but he could score too, averaging over 15 points a game in 3 of his 10 seasons and a double-double in 7. In 1975, as a starting point guard, he helped the Bullets reach the NBA Finals before being swept by the Golden State Warriors in 4 games. Following the loss, Porter was shipped to the Detroit Pistons, where he would suffer a knee injury causing him to appear in just 19 games. In the early start of his 3rd season with the Pistons, he was traded to the New Jersey Nets. It was here in New Jersey where he would fully display his combination of being able to distribute and score the ball. On February 24, 1978, Porter became the first player to dish out 29 assists in a 126-112 win over the Houston Rockets. His 29 assists were more than the entire Rockets team combined, as they had 18 total assists on the night. Porter's performance surpassed Bob Cousy's mark of 28 assists in a game that had been set back in 1959. Kevin's record for most assists in a single game stood for more than a dozen years before Scott Skiles of the Orlando Magic surpassed it with 30 assists on December 30, 1990. Now you're probably thinking, this must have been a fluke, right? Well, not really. You see, through the 1977 and 78 season, Kevin Porter had an insane run, averaging 12 assists a game and dishing out 25+ assists on 3 different occasions. The first time was when he got 29 assists against the Houston Rockets, followed by 25 against the Boston Celtics and another 25 against the Phoenix Suns. Porter also led the NBA in assists 4 times in 7 years.
So far, here's Barry against Witherspoon. Rick on firing. Not this time. And Unseld yanks down his 7th rebound. Witherspoon to Porter. Kevin has a hot hand. That's a good play that time.
In one of those seasons, his average was 13.4 assists per game, which was 2 assists greater than the previous high set by Nate Archibald. This total would be overcome only by Isaiah Thomas and John Stockton. As if that wasn't impressive enough, in the 1979 season, when Porter became the first NBA player to accumulate over 1,000 assists, he didn't just break this single-season NBA record, he shattered it by 189 assists with a total of 1,099. To top it off, Porter led the league in assists on all 3 teams he played with and also dished out 20 assists in a game, a total of 16 times. He once even dropped 30 points and 25 assists in a game, becoming the only person to ever register a 25 and 25. Since then, only John Stockton, Isaiah Thomas, Jason Kidd, and Scott Skiles have put up 20 and 25 games. That makes Porter the only player in NBA history to record a 25-point, 25-assist game. Think about that. No one, not Bob Cousy, not Magic Johnson, not Isaiah, nor John Stockton, has ever went for 25 points while dishing out 25 assists. Even current point guard superstars James Harden and Russell Westbrook have never done it. In fact, if you combine the best single-game assist totals of Harden at 17 and Westbrook at 22, you get 39. Only 10 more than Porter dished out himself in his record-setting game. With these outstanding feats, it's safe to say that Kevin Porter was an exceptional passer. So what happened? Why do NBA fans who consider themselves basketball aficionados not know about the first player in NBA history to rack up over 1,000 assists in a single season? Well, for starters, he attended a small college with no major accolades, only to appear in the NBA as a third-round pick while leading the league in personal fouls. His short career consisted of only 659 games, mostly due to the fact that he was an injury-prone player who suffered multiple injuries, including a torn Achilles. To top it off, he had only one notable playoffs appearance and never made a single All-Star game. As if that wasn't bad enough, he never stayed in one place. Throughout his career, which lasted 10 short seasons between 1972 and 1983, he never played for a single location for more than 2 years. His first 3 seasons were spent with the Bullets, then for 2 seasons he was with Detroit. Afterwards, he was traded to New Jersey for a year and then traded back to Detroit for a season, where he would finally return to play for the Bullets. With the exception of the one finals year with the Bullets, Porter spent most of his time with weak teams in small markets. We are talking about someone who had to run point guard for the infamously run Pistons team coached by Dick Vitale.
$100,000 a year is good as pop, pop, fizz, fizz. You've had tremendous relief since you got the contract.
Well, I'll tell you what, the $100,000 makes me feel good, and I know your $100,000 makes you feel good. Maybe I want to get some of the nice things in life like you have.
You say, well, I wish you well, when what are you doing? You're demonic. You know, you're an evil son of a bitch. You really are.
And that, for Porter, was a career year. Furthermore, there's the era in which he played. Kevin Porter entered the league a year after the New York Knicks' second title and left right after Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, and Michael Jordan made their debuts. Before the appearance of those three, the NBA, for the most part, was a dying league. So much so that by 1979, the NBA Finals were broadcasted on television via tape delay. If you wanted to watch the NBA Finals live at that time, you had to go to the arena. Around the 1970s, the league was also swept up in the backlash of ethnic politics surrounding the country, a time when drug abuse and racial stereotypes were of great concern. Due to all of these circumstances, the NBA was in such a dreadful position that it stood 4th place in popularity in comparison to the other professional sports leagues in the United States. On the court, the league began to show signs of great improvement. Big men were dominating as they always had, yet agile, lightning-quick guards were also arriving on the scene. Coaches, however, weren't sure what to do with point guards who could not only pass the ball, but shoot jumpers and drive to the hole. After all, in the 1950s and 1960s, point guards had one job: deliver the ball to the big guys. So with players like Porter redefining the way the position was played by driving to the paint, scoring, or dishing the ball off to wide-open teammates, the game was shifting from its traditions. Regardless of all these challenges, Kevin Porter remained a top-notch passer. When he retired in 1983, at the age of 32, the 5'11" player had accumulated 5,314 career assists and 7,645 career points, while also becoming the 14th all-time leader in career assists per game and 13th in assist percentage at 37.5. Overall, Kevin Porter was and is one of the most overlooked players in league history. As a matter of fact, when great passers are ranked, his name is rarely mentioned. Had it not been for all the negative factors surrounding his career, one could have seen him as an outstanding point guard who could have rivaled against any point guard of his time. Instead, he went on to become a neglected star from a forgotten era. Despite this, not only does he deserve to be remembered, but he should be honored. As one of the most talented assisting point guards of all time, Kevin Porter will forever go down as the greatest unknown passer in NBA history.